Okay. Good evening, Rav Zaltzman. Today we want to talk a little bit about the kids' education. That we know it's a subject that is close to your heart. Number one, you've been around in Toronto for 40 plus years. 45 years. And I just, we just talked. We mentioned that how many people, kids, Jewish kids in Toronto, that are unfortunately are not part of Jewish school system. And we want to a little bit talk about why we need to send kids to Jewish schools. What happened if not? Let's maybe talk a little bit generally, like why we need Jewish education first of all. What is Jewish education comparatively to the not Jewish education? Why is it important?
Source of Jewish education comes from God, the one who created us, the one who created the world, the one who gave us a meaning in life. And Jewish education means educating a child, nurturing him towards that the child, when he grows up as a child and then later when he grows up, should be able to fulfill his mission in life. In more simple words, he should have a moral compass. He should know what is right and what is wrong. It shouldn't come from the street or what is more popular, but he will be ingrained with Jewish values, with Jewish knowledge, with the history of great Jewish heroes that will be his heroes, that they will know that this is the way a Jew has to behave. This is how Jews survived our 3,500 years of history. And this is how the Jewish people, the nation, will be forever. If we go to public school, we basically learn being educated the way people taught to educate. And we see the level of public school, even vis-a-vis private schools, that they are behind. Even more so about Jewish schools. There is no public school doesn't have any Jewish values, or doesn't have much values. It just teaches kids how to do math and how to spell and how to learn science, but doesn't give them any moral stand, backbone, goal, outlook.
Even opposite.
And what it does is actually the opposite. When it doesn't give nothing special, then children pick up the opposite. What I like is right. What I love is moral. And what I need, everybody has to provide, and so on and so forth. But I don't want to go to the negative. I want to speak about the positive.
Well, I think the negative maybe is one aspect why, like, I remember my son, I was saying also at some point send kids to public school. Okay, normal. I mean, before we knew about God, really. And then they start, when I heard in third grade, he came, Papa, they told us about different families that exist, where it's man and man, woman and woman. I was shocked. So really, in my mind, if I leave you there, this is a third grade, what's going to be in the grade 8, grade 10? That scared me, because what's going on? Like we were in the public school too in Russia, but it was different public school. It was some, it had some boundaries, I guess, what's right, what's wrong. Not everything, of course, but now it's coming to complete chaos as far as moral values.
My father put his life and freedom in danger not to send me even to a public school in the former Soviet Union. That was, so to speak, normal. The way my father put it is very simple. He says, my child will have to sit in school 5 hours a day without the head covering and sitting near a non-Jewish girl. I'm not going to allow this. Because that's how in Russia was. There was boy and girl.
Эти аргументы они не понимают.
Yeah, nowadays, of course.
Discover, они это не понимают.
I'm just saying that my father was sacrificing this in order, in Russia, for the so to speak, a much better public school the way we have today. Much better doesn't mean as a Jew it's totally empty, and that's what my father did. Not just empty, empty and negative, and the opposite.
So you
Father-
never attended any school
That's correct.
in a normal sense.
Yes.
So this
I
one
was-
of the arguments I hear. Okay, how if you never attended the school, how are you gonna earn the living? How are you gonna be? Universities, everything like basically it's closed for you. That's number one thing, because the Jewish education schools maybe are not so strong on some of this
Tell
math
me-
and
Tell
whatever.
me, how long does universities exist in the world? How many years?
200, maybe 300,
Okay.
something
And
like that.
what's the percentage of people who went through university of population?
Now it's more. Before it was
I'm
less.
saying what is today is more. How
Today, now I think it's college system. I think most people go through college system.
in the world?
Not in the world. I'm talking about Canada,
In Canada.
U.S. Because that's like it's
Yeah,
driven in their mind that after school you have to go get more education
Familiar.
and then
Familiar,
enter the world into after 4 or 5 years after high
Well,
school.
It's gonna
So
sound-
question: how do you survive?
It's gonna be fanatic, but I believe that God created the universe, created us, and created a system. We should be successful and survive, not just survive, but thrive in life. And He didn't put the structure of a university. He gave the structure of a yeshiva. And my kids were in school in yeshiva. They didn't take any other non-Jewish subjects. And they're okay. They're surviving.
Well, I mean, in
would
your
say not
case,
surviving,
obviously
they're
it's
thriving.
rabbinical. I mean, you can say rabbinical decree they got, and also
Rabbinical
you,
decree they got.
and obviously the rabbis. So not everybody choosing maybe that path.
Fine.
Plus, maybe not everybody so they have faith like you have that God will provide.
I understand.
So,
So
let's-
the way I look at it is 20 years, the first 20 years of a child has to be educated to be a proper, decent human being. And in our case, also a decent and devoted Jew. And then he doesn't want to be a rabbi, so then he takes some courses and goes to business, whatever he wants to do. But you don't start educating a child of 5, 6 years old and decide I'm going to educate him in order he should grow up a businessman. So I'm starting to feed him already 5 years old. And I'm telling him, if you're not going to study, you're going to be sweeping the streets. If you want to have a nicely normal living, you have to study. So we're basically taking our children and making them money machines. And
which is this world is about? Yeah, this Western world is.
Unfortunately, yeah. I believe, and that's how my parents educated me. Even when it was in Russia, it was much harder to think what's going to be future. Much harder. No comparison. But they said, we're Jews, the child has to be Jewish. And how we're going to provide and eat, God will help. Didn't have the answers. But we went because that's what God told us to do. But over here, thank God, we don't need that. And today, Jewish schools, for people who want, there is day schools that have also general studies. The general studies are not behind public school.
They have
And
to
because the
comply with
child-
curriculum.
And
Yeah.
because the child is learning in the Hebrew school means he has 2 curriculums. Besides the curriculum of the public school, basically general studies, basics, he also holds a whole Jewish curriculum. So the child learns to learn more, to work harder, and he grows up a more successful human being. Besides the main thing that he grows up as a Jew, knows what a Jew means, and how to live as a Jew, and by the time build a family as a Jew, find a partner, proper partner that could live and build a Jewish home, a father and a mother, and then raise the Jewish children. Without that, we're assimilating. Also the nachas, the pride of your child. Personally, if my child would be a doctor or a lawyer, and he would make a lot of money and live in a beautiful house and live a very lavish lifestyle. It wouldn't give me the same nachas, the same pride that I see that my child is devoting his life to serve others. And maybe lives a more simple life, but his life is full with meaning. And this is the atmosphere where the grandchildren are growing. So they also have an example. They will also grow up that way. This is committed Jews, proud Jews, that the Jewish nation and Jewish history to them is very important. And they devote their lives to help another Jew and another Jew and another human being in whatever way they can. This is a nachas, this is a pride of a child that you can't compare.
Okay, so let's look at a little bit of downside of Jewish education now. It's not downside from our point of view, but really from people who wants to. If we tell all the Jews, let's bring your kids to Jewish schools, what first thing they say? It's expensive, right? First of all, we need to understand why we have a system that's public is free, and Jewish education is not free.
That's a question not to the Rabbi, that's a question to the government of Canada. That they say it's freedom and we're giving everybody equal choice, but it's not equal choice.
I think I actually looked into it. They say we can actually give you money, but that means everybody can come to your school. That's what they say. Which means we don't want. Yeah, exactly. So if we give you money, you have to accept everybody. And we say no.
I would take it.
You would take that?
The one who doesn't take it is not right. I would take it, sure.
So you get the
How many non-Jewish kids will come? Do they have to learn Talmud and Chassidus and Daven and all this and that? Come on.
That we have to have.
So if I'll have 5, but because of that I'm going to have 80 kids coming in the Jewish school of learning because the government will pay for it. This is anyway. That's.
I think not all the schools will agree to that, but yeah,
that's fine. I said
we probably need to open such a school that will take our funds from
but the government didn't offer it. It's just talks.
No, we have to go ask it because I think before the Jewish schools they said no.
No, maybe some because they're not that they're their own they follow their own advice. We have a Jewish leader in every generation, and the Rabbi dealt with that problem, and he says, take it because you're going to save Jewish souls, and that's what not the principle is the decider. How many more Jewish kids will have Jewish education? That's what you have to
most
think.
Important. Yeah.
And if you think that way, you know the answer. When you start thinking what's my principles, so you're stuck with your own. You don't care what the results are.
Okay, I mean, even in that case, I think it will be still some cost. Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to be free.
The answer is very simple. Definitely, Jewish education is very expensive. No question. And I know it. I had Jewish kids in the Jewish system, and even with all the discounts and help and so on and so forth, it still costs a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But children is the biggest asset in your life. You pay for a house, you buy a house and you choke, and then you pay mortgage for years because you want the children to have a normal life. They should have a room, they should have a backyard, they should have where they come, where they play, and bring a friend. Jewish education is very expensive, unfortunately, because the government doesn't pay for it. In the States, it's easier. For instance, in Florida, the government pays. Voucher system.
Really?
If you bring that voucher, every parent got a voucher. You go to the public school get the money. If you go to Jewish school, the Jewish school get the money. And you choose which school you want. So
basically, a child get the money for education. Where you bring it?
Exactly. That's the parents decide where to do it.
Ah, very nice.
This is what we were asking them here.
Mm-hmm.
And the public school would improve because then they'll have to compete. But they're lazy. They said, no, we're going to lose kids for public school. But the truth of the matter is, if the principal will know that if he runs a good program, he has more parents will come with a certificate and he'll have more money for his school, he's going to work, the school will be better. But he knows the school, the money he gets, and whatever it produces doesn't affect his pay or the growth of his school. Why does he have to work hard? Anyway, but that's, we're going the other way. The most important thing in your life is a child. Is your child and the education of the child. But education, the world says education means knowledge. And Judaism says education means educating
Moral values.
behavior, morals, of spiritual compass, making from the child a human being, a responsible human being, a kind human being, a moral human being, a human being who devotes his life for a purpose, not just for what I need and I want.
Okay. I think more.
I think we had enough of it.
This is going to be too long for
I
next
think
time.
we already have, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. You could do more.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be maybe too long. So we're going to have maybe
This is half hour already.
series of this. No, it's 15 minutes.
15?
Yeah. So we're going to have maybe series of these discussions because obviously there's more questions. And if people are going to ask more, obviously we're going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Because I think this education, I don't know how many people come to you with these questions, or they come too late, maybe, right?
Yeah.
When it's already a problem that they cannot resolve, the kids get off the marrying somebody else, they don't like it, and they can't really control it. So I think that's one of the problems.
Correct.
We need to catch it in the right problem. Okay, thank you very much. We're gonna be meeting, I guess, regularly once a week, probably.
Okay.
Discuss this kind of stuff. תודה רבה.